Can you spare some change? Spare some change? Anything, $5, anything you got. Anything. What'd you jerk lost? Jesus Christ, Willie Kane, what are you doing here, man?
What are you doing here?
Well, you know, I got bumped out of the CIA after that Havana thing.
This is...
Yeah.
Why don't I buy you a Big Mac with fries?
You know, I love that. I haven't had a good meal in a long time.
Want some cheese on it?
Yeah, cheese,
Okay.
fries, the whole thing.
How about a Coke?
Oh, thanks,
This
Willie.
is terrible.
I know. What a bummer. What a bummer.
You've been divorced 5 times?
5 times. You know, so let me
5
tell you this.
divorces?
Look, 2 divorces are as good as a 5.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, nothing. I got nothing left.
What was her name?
Chiquita something.
Chiquita Maria?
Yeah, Maria.
She was the
You know, they all end with Ames.
Yeah.
But the reality is, they're all they want is the good old American dollar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I married it, can I say? And this is now what about you? What's happened to you?
Well, I finally came out of the closet.
Right. You and Roy, I knew it.
We had a sort of trial marriage.
I know, you and Burnside, I know.
Yeah, but it didn't work out.
It didn't work out. Yeah.
So, Peel and I said to Peel one day, how about if you and I get together?
God, you can't know. Well, you were trolling the bottom of the barrel.
We'd always known there was something there.
But have you got an age thing, a father thing, or what's the story?
We'd always known there was something there, so we decided to give it a little go. You know?
Yeah,
we set up home together.
Right, and what happened then?
Wellingham came out for tea one day, and he said, yeah, I fancy running into you all these years.
Yeah.
It's quite astonishing. Come on, you have a little chat. You got time?
Yeah, I got nothing but time. Let me tell you, these days, nothing but time.
But anyway. You want to go first, Mark?
Now you go first.
Okay, it was in 1978, I think, when I just stepped off a train at King's Cross Station, having just done a television program for Granada, I think, and my wife at the time met me, and she said, "Oh, you got the Sandbaggers." She said you were starting work on Monday.
Wait a minute. What do you mean you've got it? Didn't you go up for it? Didn't they just
They asked you to do it. Yeah, no, I don't think.
I can't believe that.
I can't remember.
They
No,
can't have just offered it to you.
No, you're right. No, you're right. I went. No, prior to that, I went for a casting with
Right. Was it Malcolm?
Derek Bennett. I think.
Derek cast
who was Derek Bennett and Malcolm Drury. Who
Malcolm
casted
Drury,
it.
yeah, right.
And between them, they offered it to me, which I was very pleased to hear when I stepped off the train, as I said. Yes, having had the interview about a week previously. And I asked what it was about, and she didn't know too much about it, so I found out, and we proceeded in that direction.
Didn't you have to read?
I don't think I did. I can't remember.
You know, I didn't either. It's funny.
No.
I just went in and talked.
Yeah.
It's very
In
strange.
those days, you didn't have to read so much.
Yeah, they kind of knew something about you. You know,
You have to read everything these days, don't you?
Yeah. No, what happened to me is that I was in a play. Remember Are You Now or Have You Ever Been?
Yeah.
Now, that got a lot of very good black ink. It was a huge hit, and it went to the Mayfair. And Michael had seen it, Michael Ferguson.
Right.
And he called my agent, and he said, I'd like to see Bob Sherman. I saw him in a play last night, and I thought he'd be rather good for this particular part of the CIA, head of the CIA in London.
Yeah, he was wrong, but...
he was wrong.
Yeah.
He was wrong. We proved him wrong. And so anyway, then I went and met them, saw the group, and I'll never forget. It was the easiest interview ever.
Yeah.
Michael was just so easy.
Yeah, he's quite an affable fellow, isn't he?
Very affable. You know.
Michael Ferguson, we're talking about.
Yeah, and he just, we talked, and then I didn't know if I had it or not. I think they let me sweat a couple of days. I know I didn't have to read. It was just talking, and then bang, the agent called and said, "Hey, you're in."
Yeah.
But what was interesting is that you'd already shot 2 episodes, right?
Weren't you there from the start?
No, I wasn't. I came in episode 3. I'm almost sure of that.
Wow.
Because you shot 2 things with Laura Dickinson.
Yeah.
And I came in the 3rd, and I was told I was very much under the gun, that if I didn't pull it off, they could easily replace me, because there was something in the episode that made it look like...
Wow.
Yeah, I had a couple of shots at the whip.
Yeah, they put you right on the line.
Right on the line,
Yeah.
and that was nerve-wracking.
Whereas
you were part of the family.
Yeah.
I was joining. I was the ugly sister.
I've no memory of that. I thought we were all there right from the very beginning, but we weren't.
So for me, it was great. It was a real
nerve-wracking.
baptism of fire.
Yeah.
So I did 3 episodes in that first one. Did we shoot 6 or 7 the first time?
I think it was 7, 6, and 7.
Well, I think what they did is they wrote me in 3 out of that 7.
Right.
And then when they had more to do, then they wrote me in more as
Yeah.
But it was really a pay or play. It was I was under the gun to do it, and it came through. But for me, it was the best television experience I've ever had.
They were asking me how they think the character should be portrayed, And I said, well, we can't do any research because no one would allow us to do any research, the subject matter being very, very delicate. So I wasn't able to do any research. And I did after the Sandbaggers, I did something called Harry's Game, which was also a secret agent. And there again, we were not allowed to do no research because everybody just clammed up and were very circumspect. Yeah. Yeah, but it was the same with the Sandbaggers, no research because everybody was so jittery about it.
But it was funny because when I went in, I said, "Well, do you want me to do the CIA guy with the short hair and looking very Ivy League type?" And they said, "No." They said, "We like you scruffy because that's sort of unusual. Most CIA guys are played in a certain way. They all look like State Department officials."
Yeah.
I said, "You actually look like you might have spent some time in a few of the bars and bordellos along the Paso Maritimo."
How do they know that about you?
I don't know, it just reads. When I walked in, the thing guy says, "Great face. You look like the 8th deadly sin."
Terrible stuff.
Yeah.
No, I said, could I play my character, Willie Kane, like George C. Scott, as Patton? I thought it would be quite a good idea. It could be quite forceful.
But you didn't.
But I didn't. But I auditioned it initially as George C. Scott, as Patton. So I'd come on and say, remember Patton's opening...
and then they got you down to Julie Andrews.
Yeah, Julie Andrews, yeah. And they said, well, how would it go? And I said, well, I'd go into Neil and I'd say, Neil, no man ever won a war by dying for his country. He won it by making the other poor bastard die for his. And they said, no, we don't really want that.
Don't really want what subtle stuff.
So I said, how about Walter Matthau? I see. Walter Matthau playing Willie Kane, going saying, Neil, for Christ's sake, how many times I got to tell you that no more hamburgers with Jeff Ross? You're sitting there chomping on hamburgers and cheeseburgers with God. They said, no, we don't want that. So I decided just to play it straight. Yeah. Did they ask you to do any?
They asked me to do absolutely nothing. I was just surviving in those first couple of episodes.
Right. Yeah.
But it's hard to. I mean, here I'm looking at this, and here's the book. Here's the. And God, you really do look 10 years old. Look at Roy. I mean, Christ, I saw him the other day.
Well,
and Roy looks like Father Time now. He's really got the. He's quite bald but aged, and
Well, I suggested this for the front cover, but they said no.
Let's say. That's right. I'm in disguise here.
Yeah. That was me and an action shot. Sorry. That's the wrong one. I beg your pardon. No, that's this one. It's a little better. Can you see that?
Christ, that's my wife. What are you doing with that? Yeah, that's right. That's Christ, I'm wondering the eyes are going. Who's this?
This one.
That's not Michael Casper.
It's a commercial for face cream. I did that.
That's it.
That's an episode from a shot from
Who's in that?
One of the episodes.
Is
that
that
was in the summer of '78 with Sarah Bullen.
That was Sarah Bullen. That's when you were doing the. Well, that took place in Cyprus.
In Cyprus,
that's right. The Cyprus thing.
Yeah.
And where did you shoot that? Because it was a dead
ringer.
ringer.
That was in Brimham Rocks in Yorkshire.
Christ Almighty, this is amazing. I mean, how they got these locations to look like, almost like Lubyanka.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, Yorkshire in the winter, Leeds in the winter, really does look like Moscow, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or all these depressing places.
We stood in. And a lot of Leeds stood in for, as you say, Prague and Budapest and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And you couldn't really see the join. I mean, nobody said, "Oh, I recognise that."
Yeah.
So the only real location we did was Malta.
Yeah, the one that I didn't get to go on. Thanks, Ian, wherever you are. By the way, where is Ian? What do you reckon he is?
He drew the short straw when we all went to Malta. He didn't get to go,
I didn't get to go.
That was rather sad.
I'm still licking my wounds on him. I showed him I went to Africa.
Talking of Ian McIntosh's disappearance, I remember we were all on location in Malta and we were summoned about 6 p.m. one evening. And
Christ, it happened down there? I mean, that's when you heard the news
we were told. And they said, well, there's a convention. Everybody's got to meet at 6 p.m. in the bar. So we all thought the electricians had gone on strike or something like that, which they were wont to do at that time.
Yeah.
And they said he got some bad news and told us about Ian's disappearance. He'd gone down over
Kodiak Island, wasn't it?
In the Bering Straits, was it?
Yeah, it was in the Bering, but...
Kodiak Island. He'd gone from Kodiak to Anchorage.
That's right.
And they got a fix where he went down. And the Coast Guards were there within half an hour, 20 minutes. And there was no sign of wreckage.
None of it makes sense, because first of all, he filed a flight plan and changed it.
Yes.
Which is what, this guy, Graham Barber, who he was with, first of all, he's an excellent pilot.
Now, this is the writer, Ian McIntosh.
Ian McIntosh. And Graham Barber, his best friend, was with him. And he's a BA pilot, and Graham Barber's fiancée was with him, a foxy blonde lady.
That's right.
And they all took off. He avoided the flight plan. They flew under the radar. They never went anywhere near Kodiak Island, apparently, and they just disappeared.
Right.
So
But they got a fix, because the Coast Guards got a fix when they went down.
No, they didn't.
Well, that's what I heard.
No, they didn't. I mean, they went out and looked for him in the general area. The point is there was no transponder, there was no wreckage, nothing.
No.
That's what makes it like the Mary Celeste.
And the sea would not have been very cold at that time, so they could have survived.
Well, something would float. I mean, for Christ's sake, it's a light aircraft. You know what I mean? It's not a jet that sinks in about 9 seconds. It's a light displacement aircraft that would float for a while.
Sure.
Even if it augured in very badly, bits would float. There was nothing.
Yes. But according to his parents, whom I met in Inverness, he was a very fastidious and meticulous fellow about safety. He would always you know.
And a BA pilot. Actually, Graham Barber was flying the plane.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, the whole thing is highly mysterious. So where could he be? He might have defected to Russia, perhaps. Maybe he was a double agent, went to Russia. But why is there no sign of him after
No,
Glasnost?
it's most mysterious. Yeah, but his parents also told me. I was doing this musical Guys and Dolls in Inverness shortly after we did Sandbaggers, and his parents came to visit me, and we had a chat in the bar afterwards. And they said they had a postcard from him. Excuse me. Sorry.
From where?
From wherever he was, from Alaska or wherever it was. And he always wrote "Love Ian" at the end of it. But on this particular occasion, he'd written "Live Ian," L-I-V-E. And that was just endorsed by Laurie, his brother whom we just met. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is big time mysterioso. I mean, I swear.
Why would he, a meticulous, articulate man, write "live" instead of "love"? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a simple, basic mistake.
So his parents, to this day, I know Laurie still believes he's alive to this day.
Does he?
But where would he be? Why would he be in China? For instance?
Why would he?
Why would he
such
be
a
in
thing?
Russia now? Because now that we have Glasnost, the whole thing's open. They've opened all the they've opened a lot of KGB files. Where would he be? Is the question. Maybe he just wanted to disappear and live in a place where maybe
And why would he turn his back on such a burgeoning career? You know, he was on the brink of a
Huge
very
success. I mean,
good writing career, a very, very clever writer.
Yeah, I mean, he had. This was the second series he did. The first series was Warship.
That's right. Warship, yeah.
That's right, and that was a hit. And he followed it up with this. This got big time viewing.
Yeah.
And now it's a cult. Yay.
Yeah.
Keep watching, guys. Keep watching.
We were going to continue with another series had Ian lived.
Yeah.
And he had the idea that Willie Kane would move up to DOPS, but in a wheelchair, because, as you know, Willie was shot, but he perform DOPS job in a wheelchair. And Burnside would move up to C's job. Something like that was the idea that he had.
So what would happen to C?
Probably retire and...
That's right. And,
golden handshake.
but we still had Alan McNaughton as
Yes.
Wellingham.
Yeah.
And Jerome.
Yes.
He-
The late Alan McNaughton.
The late
Alan passed on only 2-3 weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, it was tragic.
Yeah. And Jerome, Jerome, who played Peel, is now working with the Royal Shakespeare Company at Stratford-on-Avon.
Is he really? What's he in?
Pass on that one, you got me there.
Yeah.
But he's in the company, and he wrote a very good piece in the Guardian newspaper recently about...
Jerry did?
Yeah, because he was with the Royal Shakespeare Company in 1951 or 2.
Oh, and now he's saying the
And
difference.
now he just wrote a little expose of the difference between then and now.
Yeah.
It was a very good article, very well written.
And Diane Keane, who played Laura Dickens. What has happened to her? I heard that she
Alive
was in
and
trouble.
well and living in Wimbledon, but I don't know what she's doing. It's a tough game,
Right. Stay away from it.
Yeah.
Leave the field to us.
Yeah.
To us older sandbaggers.